Hello, this is your host, Pastor Joshua. I just want to give you a word of encouragement today. When God calls you to fill in some big shoes, don't be concerned about how you're going to get the job done. As long as you're in the line of God that God has put you in, God is going to see you through. Look what it says in Joshua chapter 1. It says that my servant Moses, God said, my servant Moses is dead, Joshua. That means now it's your turn. And Joshua was very much surprised. But you know what? God was already grooming him through Moses because of all that time that Joshua spent with Moses. When Moses said, I'm going to go up to the mountaintop and I'm going to be there, I don't know how long, but you wait for me here. He didn't go all the way up to the top. He went to a certain point and he waited. You know, Joshua was he was just being tested. His heart was being tested all that time, to see if there was envy, if there was jealousy, if there were other kinds of low self-esteem problems like Korah had, and many other issues. God is going to test each and one of us. God is going to test your heart to see if you're going to be faithful to your pastor, to the leaders in the church. You say, why should I do what they tell me to do? Well, God is testing your heart. And if you're obedient to God, man, God is going to take you to some big places. And one of the things about being obedient and one of the things about just being there at the moment that God wants you to be ready is to take you up to new places, to new things. And we don't know the plans that God has for each and one of us, but we do know that he says in Jeremiah 29, he has good things in mind. So whatever God has planned for your life, for my life, is good stuff. And Joshua had good stuff coming to him. God did not allow Moses because there was a situation where God said to Moses, speak to the rock. And he hit the rock with the staff. So God says, because you've done that, you have not glorified me. You have not sanctified me before God's people. So therefore you will not enter. God, it doesn't matter how much weight you might have with the people. God is a just God. God doesn't have any favorites. What God is looking for is obedience. What God is looking for is that we just do what God says and the way that he says. That's what gets us into big trouble. Now, it also says, if you're faithful to God, God said to Joshua, look, this is what I want you to do. In Joshua chapter 1, verse 7, it says, be strong and be courageous. So those are two powerful elements. Be strong and be courageous. And then he continues to say, and stick with my commands. Stick with my instructions. Read my word day and night. And that is going to help you not to get away from either to the left or to the right. You're always going to be straight. And God wants us to continue to be straight with God. I want to encourage you. Be straight with God, and God is going to help you. God is going to be right there with you. This has been your host, Pastor Joshua.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.